moved outside. We got a few of those right here, that is for sure. It's time to really bring fall to our front door. And Ken, you are going to show us how to do just that.
Yes, I am, because I love this time of year. I love summer, but when it starts to wind down, that first change in the air, I am all ready to celebrate fall. You feel the same way, right?
Exactly, and the front of your house is such an important part of fall because you're welcoming guests into your home.
Right.
It's where you're handing out that Halloween candy, so it's just a really beautiful part and just welcomes the season.
I know, it really does. It welcomes the season. It sort of represents the changing of the seasons. And I kind of feel like, to your point, that fall is sort of really the beginning of the holiday milestones that we all kind of know and love so much.
Right.
Okay, so we talked about that. We want to decorate. Where do we begin?
All right, so everyone at home, a couple of key tips when you're doing your front. First, you want to sort of come up with a theme. A theme can be types, can be pumpkins, can be leaves, can also be color palette.
Oh.
So what I did was I took the color palette from the Garland that we're using, the Fall Radiance, and I sort of used that to sort of set the tone. That will create cohesiveness throughout. You don't want to have it be different things every 3 feet along the front.
There's something to be said about cohesiveness, isn't there? I mean, as far as looking at a space or the front of a house and visually, it's just kind of pleasing and calming, and it kind of takes you through it, okay?
Right.
So we're going to start with, you talked about the colors, you talked about the Garland. We've got this beautiful archway here in front of our house, and I see that you've got the Garland laid out across this gorgeous archway.
Right, so one tip for everybody at home, one thing that really irks me is when I see people, they get Garland and they just put it right around the frame of the door. And that is just so myopic and really makes things kind of bunched. What you want to do is find a place to bring that out. I found our archway 4 or 5 feet in front, and so you're really creating that look and that welcoming feel well before. I think you should also remember that Garland, when you get a Garland, get several of them, because not only will it work for archways, but then you start to weave it. I wove it through our hay bales here. And
well, that ties it all together. Two parts. Speaking of cohesiveness,
and then back here around the door. So any place you need a pop of color, you can always get that Garland, and it's going to really start to tie everything in together.
And is it just me? Or, I mean, these Garlands really are so full. They've got so many different dimension and textures and things going on. But one of the things that sort of stands out for me is the incredible colors. And I know from experience, when I put something out for even one season sometimes, it'll fade so quickly.
Right.
How do you keep these colors from fading?
So this is one of our Balsam Hill collections. It's truly outdoor safe. So it's UV coated. So you can leave it out all fall, bring it out next year, it still looks great. And the colors on the leaves, the colors on the gourds, they look the same as they did the year before.
That's beautiful.
It's really great.
Great
really
idea.
handy.
I know you were saying that you've had some.
I've had to throw out quite a few wreaths where after a year, the color's all gone and you have to start over.
So these are UV protected. Beautiful colors. We love it. We're off to a good start. Ken, now we've got this great arch, this architectural detail on our home. Now, what if you don't have something like this, something that sort of screams for the Garland? What can we do?
So if you don't have these sort of things, you have a more plain front, you can always add that architectural detail.
Okay.
So let's say this collection comes with window boxes, which I love, but let's say you don't have a window to put it on. What I did was I took our blank wall here and I just got a decorative grate. I added that decorative grate and I'm going to treat it as a window, and then I'm going to hang the window box here. So all of a sudden that creates the detail, and we've also then added another level with a similar greenery that's going to really tie things together. And then Mac, if you could do the honors for the front door, we're going to then bring that even closer to the front door.
Mac, and as I'm looking at that, I mentioned it before, but there's so many different kind of elements and textures to these garlands and these wreaths. I mean, is that something that you personally get involved in, that you like to try to kind of add more and fill it up? And how about some gourds or whatever?
I do. We want to have the colors match the leaves, and you don't want to have too many pumpkins or gourds, but it just, those little pops, right, of dimension and color and texture just brings it all together.
Yeah, clearly you guys got it figured out. It looks beautiful. Okay, so we've got the front door area, I should say, all done. But now, how do we kind of bring this in for that cohesive look on the front of the house?
Right, and that's a very good point. I'd like to encourage people, don't just have it at your front door, because then that's going to feel very kind of staid. Take that look, and whether it's down a couple of stairs, whether it's into a foyer or front yard, extend the look. What I've done here is I've just gotten very inexpensive hay bales, I've gotten some grocery store flower mums, some crates, and really start to step that down as you come. I'm then going to add, I have to say, I love this wagon, which actually I got from you, I think, a year ago for Christmas, but I keep updating it, and now I'm updating it for fall. You get these elements, and you keep reusing them.
Yeah, your different accessories really change the look.
Straight with the corn in there.
Right, and I love pumpkins, but sometimes I get my pumpkins in the grocery store. Sometimes if I can't make it to the farmer's market and they're not that interesting. So what I'm doing here is I'm layering in some of the Balsam Hill pumpkins that really have interesting color and texture. And all you have to do is mix those in with the grocery store pumpkins. pumpkins, and all of a sudden you've created sort of more of a dynamic look.
Fantastic. I mean, Kit, you're so good at this. Mac, I hope this is in line with your fall harvest
I love it.
vibe at your house.
It's beautiful. It brings everything. I love having the color come forward.
Right, exactly.
Extends it.
And you want to remember to step it down. You want to sort of keep levels and bring it down lowest at the front. So that sort of creates, again, that welcoming vibe.
Yeah.
How about some finishing Ken Wingard tips for us? What can you finish it off? You know, I mean, it's going to be a brand in its own.
Well, I know that you've been ignoring the elephant in the room, which is the Canadian maple tree that we have over here. So for those of us that live in California don't necessarily get fall color, hey, we're going to put our Canadian maple here. Hey.
This is my childhood in a tree right here, everybody. I'm telling you right now.
And again, we're tying in the color with cohesiveness, and then we sort of filled that gap, so then that sort of funneling in, that welcoming in is happening.
Nice.
And then I always like to add, thank you, Mac, a little bit of twinkle and light. You're going to have your porch light on at night, but think about the rest of it. So adding this sort of triple lantern here, which has got the light, again, we're continuing that line. I'd say, Mac, one of the things I love about this is that you've got this wonderful fall spray, which comes with it.
Yep.
But because I am frugal, I love the fact that as soon as Thanksgiving's over, I can take this off, add some holiday greenery, and the lantern lives on.
You know, you guys really know what you're doing. I hope you have your afternoon free, because maybe you can make a stop at my house.
We'll be right over.
Great job. Absolutely spectacular, as I'm sure everybody agrees. Visit balsamhill.com to find that perfect decor to celebrate the season in your home as well, everybody.